Alright, hello everyone. So this is your special reading class, and this class is for you people to know how we can approach reading tasks. Now, since we don't have any template or anything for our reading, so it becomes a little bit tricky for us to tackle this, and this class will help you a lot, right? Please let me know in the comment section or in the chat box if you can see the screen and if I'm audible to you all. Please use the chat box. Alright, so let's start with the class. First of all, welcome everyone to this live session. So we shall be working a little bit on our reading and sort of grammar too. So we shall be starting off with reading and writing blanks. Yes. Alright, so what we are going to do is I will give you 3 minutes exactly, 3 minutes or 2.5 minutes to solve these questions, and then we will go on to discuss them together, right? You may take 3 minutes from right now, 3 minutes, and then we shall start discussing these questions. All right, let's start. So I hope you're doing well in this. All right, let's start. We shall start with. Okay, what do we say is? See is another question is, what is it about human brains? So what is it about human brains that dash a language to evolve in a way that it did not in the other primates? So what we are looking for is something which is in second form. Okay, verbs is second form because they are talking about past, right? So what is that something which made, if I have to fill this blank with something, according to me, I would go for made, right? So basically what we are looking for is second form of the verb, right? Let's check the options. Now permits is in the present form, so we won't go for this. Authorize, similarly, we won't go for these two options because they are in the present form. We'll directly eliminate them. See, the best way to look for the right answer is elimination. When we eliminate the unwanted options, unwanted as in not so suitable options, then we are easily able to reach to the correct answer. So we are eliminating these two options. Then what we are left is adjusted and allowed. Now we cannot go for adjusted. Why? Because there is nothing about adjustment here. We are simply talking about what is it that made language to evolve, right? So we'll go for allowed. So that would be our answer. Right. So first answer, yes. Zoya, you got the first answer correct? Yes. Let's see. So we are left with one option, which is the correct answer. That is allowed in the first blank. Let's move on. At some point, our brains became able to make our mouths produce vowel and consonant sounds, and we developed the capacity to invent words to name things around us. These were the basic dash. Now see, what we are looking for is something in plural because this is what we have. The word is these were. So directly we'll jump on to something which is in plural form, right? Let's see the options. Options say content, constituent, ingredients, and component. Now this is pretty much easy because all of them are in singular form. So we'll go for ingredients, which is the right answer. Right? This was pretty much easy. Let's move on to the next one. So the next change would have been to put those words into sentences. Now the next change will come up. That would be, so the first thing was producing vowel and consonant sounds. And the next thing comes, which is putting those words into sentences. So we are basically making words first, then putting those words into the sentences, which is our next step. So what do we need here is something to the proto language. So basically the answer has to be something which is followed by to. So let's see the options. Let's read the sentence first completely. Dash to the proto language children use when they first learn to speak. So what we are looking for is something that should be followed by to. Let's see the options. The options are same. Now we cannot say same to. Okay, let's eliminate the unwanted options first. Alike will not be there. All right. Let's see. Alike should not be there. Why? Because we are not talking about something which looks alike or which sounds alike. Okay. What we are looking for is same or similar. Okay. Different would be completely opposite. So we will eliminate this option. Same and similar we are left with. Let's see now what we have to look for grammatically. Now grammatically it should be followed with to. So we will go for similar. Alright. The next change would happen to put those words into sentences. Dash to the proto language children use first when they first learn to speak. So which will be similar. It becomes similar to the proto-language children. All right. Okay, next move on to the next blank. So no one knows if the next step adding grammar to signal past. Okay. Let me correct that first. Okay, so I hope it has helped a little bit. Is it a little better now? Am I audible clearly? All right, thank you. Okay, so let's continue. What we were reading is, no one knows if the next step. Now let's see, what do they say? They say no one knows what is the next step, whether it's adding grammar to signal past, present, and future, for example, or plurals and relative clauses required a further dash in the human brain. Okay, so now we have to see something that is applied or applicable to human brain. Let's see the options. So we are talking about growing. Growing we cannot exactly say, right? Let's eliminate this option. Change, we are not talking about any change over here, and also change should be followed by from something to something, right? We are talking about some changes, so that's not what we are talking about. We are then let's see expansion. Expansion in the human brain, we cannot say that human brain can expand, even if it happens in certain situations. Then we are not talking about the physiology, so we cannot say expansion of the human brain. Even otherwise, expansion should be followed by of. So we shall go with development. So that is your correct answer. All right. Let's move further. So or was simply a response to R dash. So what we are looking for is something which is related to us. Response to R dash civilized way of living together. Let's see the options. Only, we are not talking about only one thing. Okay, only would be suitable if we are talking about only one thing out of many. So there are not many things, so we can eliminate this option clearly. Okay, first of all, what we are looking for, the part of speech that we are looking for is adverb. Now that is because we are not seeing anything related to nouns or anything. This is an adjective which we have, directly after the blank. So this is civilized way, which means it's an adjective, right? So adjective is always described by an adverb, right? So we are looking for something which ends in ly. Equal will again be an adjective, so we won't go for this one. What we are looking for is an adverb. So what we are left with is gradually and increasingly. Okay, now let's see what suits here the most. It says dash civilized way of living together. Now gradually we cannot be civilized gradually, or eventually, or over a long period of time. So we can say increasingly. Let's eliminate this option as well. So we will say increasingly civilized way. What is the way we are getting civilized? That is increasing, right? It's increasing from day by day. So we'll go for increasingly civilized way of living together. Okay, now let me erase all of this, and I'm sorry. Could you please explain what you are asking, or what your doubt is exactly? Yes, absolutely. Let's read this first again. Yeah. So let's start from the sentence. No one knows if the next step, okay, adding grammar to signal past, present, and future. These are all constituents of grammar. For example, of plurals and relative clauses. These are all constituents of grammar, right? Then what we are saying is required a further development in the human brain. Let's add this one. So this is development, just to make it easier for us. Required a further development in human brain, or was simply a response to our dash civilized way. We are living together, okay, and for that we have a civilized way, right? So what kind of civilized way we, that's our blank, that is our question. So what is that? How is that civilized way? Now what we are looking for is something which describes civilized, which is an adjective, right? So an adjective is only described by another adverb, right? If you remember, what are adverbs? Adverbs are those words which explain another verb, adjective, or another adverb, right? So this is an adjective. That's why we are looking for something with ly. Okay, so ly we have only. Now only actually means that only one thing. So there are not many things that we're talking about. We have only one thing, right? So we cannot say only this thing. We eliminate that. Equal is very much eliminated because it is in the first place not an adverb and it does not end with ly. Now we are left with two options, gradually or increasingly. Why we do not go for gradually? That is because it's not a gradual civilized way. Gradual, we cannot be gradual in being civilized, right? We are getting more and more civilized. That is the reason we are going for increasingly. I hope that clears your doubts. Yes. Any other doubts? You may type it in the chat box and I shall address you. Any other doubts? I can wait for some time so that you can come up with your doubts. All right, so I guess this one is clear. Let's quickly move on to the next one. I hope this is clear. This is clearly visible to everybody. All right, let's take another 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes approx, and we shall discuss this once you're done, right? Please type your answers in the chat box so that I can see how many of you are getting it right. All right. Alright, hi everyone. I'm really sorry about this. There was some kind of timing issues. Now I understand that it starts at this time. So what we'll do is we'll restart the class. We'll start off with the first task itself. So welcome now everybody. So this is your special reading class. No, the time hasn't changed. The time did not change at all. This is the timing we shall start, right? It was some sort of time issues, but it's fine. We'll start it again and we shall do everything again. Let's start this one again, right? All right, so let's do this one first. We shall come back to the other one. Let's do this one because some of you, I could see that some of you were sending the answers. Okay, so this class starts. This class is after is like for those students who have already attended their strategy classes and their grammar classes. This is actually supposed to be the first. This is the time to start off the class. So the same timing you can follow for the future as well. And the strategy classes for reading and grammar, it happens. It's weekly. So you need to see wherever you are studying. You can attend the class and see how it is being done. All right, let's start off with this. And for the new students, I mean the ones who joined a little later, so if you're in Sydney, this is the time. I guess it's 6:30. Yes, so 6:30 is the timing of the class. We shall start off with this exercise right now, okay? And the ones who joined late, let me give you 2 more minutes. In 2 minutes, we shall start discussing again. All right, let's start. Well, I can see all the answers in the chat box, and I'm happy that you are getting most of the answers correct. Right, I'm happy about that. However, you are not really getting the second answer correct. Let's see. Let's begin from the initial point. Let's start. Okay. So of course, this means further research is necessary. So further research has to be there. Scientists say they need to send new equipment to Mars. What do they need to do is they need to send new equipment to Mars, equipment that can dash the air on and soil. So for the ones who said that there should be count, we should go for count. No, count is not the right answer. Okay, so we have to see what they are talking about. They're talking about air and soil, which is not countable. So air and soil cannot be counted. So we shall eliminate the option count, seeing that air and soil are not really countable. Okay, let's see. Now, some of you are getting the correct answer, which is measure. Now, I'll tell you why. We cannot, first of all, let's eliminate the unwanted options. Those are considered. We are not considering anything over here, or the equipments cannot consider anything, or they are not looking for something. So we shall remove this one. Planning, they are not talking about planning anything. Anyway, equipment are not really that capable. Humans can plan something. Even if we talk about equipments should plan, they cannot plan the air and soil because they cannot provide it. So what should we go for is measure, because we can measure air and soil how much it is. We need to know that. So so that we can say that there is possibility of life over there or not on the Martian surface. So we should go for measure.
Ma'am, I have a doubt. Ma'am, we can't measure air.
No, we cannot measure air. It's not countable. Sorry, we can measure. We can measure the pressure of air or everything. For anybody who faces any doubts, could you please type it in the chat box and I shall address you accordingly. Yes, so I'll answer your question. We are talking about measuring. We can measure air, or air pressure can be measured. Even otherwise, even if we cannot measure it, we have to look for the options, right? We cannot count it. They are not considering or planning anything. So we should actually go for measuring, because we have limited options. All right. Yes. So we can, even if we talk about measuring or not measuring, we have to see what options we have. So the options we have is consider count and plan, which which do not suit the text or context. Right. So our answer should be measure. Okay, we shall go for this one. Let's move on to the next one, which is kind of tricky for, I guess, most of you. More with more precision. There are already missions. All right, please answer here to the answers. Probably you are getting certain of them wrong. There are already missions that are, all right, so I can understand why you people are going for ongoing. See, ongoing means it is just happening. It is in a process. Okay, they are just going on. Okay, we are not talking about progress or anything. So ongoing cannot be there, right? First, let's eliminate the unwanted options. No, that is not the correct option. Okay, let's say the unwanted one. Now, because we have are, so we are looking for something in ing. So continued will not be there. Happening, it's not really an academic word, which is a very general word. Happening just means like it is happening or it is occurring, right? So what should we go for is underway. Underway means the same as ongoing. There is a slight difference that underway means they are progressing. They are not just happening, they have started and they are progressing. Okay, so it is our correct option, right? Yes, here we do not need ing exactly because ing was not going exactly with the context. Underway itself means going on with progress. Right? If you still have a doubt, you may type that. Underway itself means ongoing. Yes, okay. Let's start from the scratch. So the answer is underway because right. So the answer is underway because okay, we are eliminating already continued and happening. We have already eliminated. Now the question is ongoing and underway. See, ongoing just means that they have started and it's going on. It's just going on, you know, it's not making any sort of progress. But the missions over there, because we have, you know, gotten a lot of things from the Martian surface. It's not just that it's going on and the missions are just going on. They are not making any sort of progress. Ongoing means it's not making any sort of progress. They are not showing. Ongoing word means it's just going on without any progress, or with progress, we do not know for sure. But underway means we are making some progress. The missions are making certain progress. That is the reason we are going for underway. They are progressing and they are in process also. Yes, it's more academic. Right? Let's go to the next one. Now, since we don't have any blank over here, but still I would insist that, you know, we should read it completely so that we know what's going on here. The European Space Agency's ExoMars ship lands in 2020 and will be able to drill into the ground on Mars to analyze what it finds. Additionally, NASA is sending another Mars rover in the same year to collect samples of Martian soil and return them to Earth. So what we can say is that there are these things which are going on the surface of the Mars to analyze, right? So that they can get some sort of samples from the Martian soil and return them to the Earth so that we can make or do a little more research into that. Then the dash of life, right? The dash of life, whether life is possible over there or not. Now we should see what the options are. So the sources of life. Sources actually means what? Sources means, you know, it's coming from somewhere, like something we are getting something from for some purpose, right? So those sources are, you know, which are providing something to us. Yes. So the answer should be possibility, and I'm really glad that many of you have gotten it right. For those who are getting it wrong, let me explain to them. Circumstances, we are not talking about any particular circumstance, and circumstance of life does not really suit here. Ability of life does not have any sort of ability. Life is life. So we should go for possibility, whether life is possible on Mars or not, right? That is our question. So possibility of life, that should be our correct answer. Clear? Then so let's fill it up just for us to, you know, easily understand. So the possibility of life on Mars has dash for humans, right? Now because we have has, so what we are looking for is something in the third form of verb, right? I hope you remember that has and have are already, has, have, and had, they are always followed by verbs third form, right? So what do we have in third form is fascinate. We cannot have fascinating, it's an ing form. So been fascinated and fascinated. Now let's eliminate these two. So what we are left with is fascinated. So we do not need anything which is in the perfect form, like perfect continuous or perfect form. What we are looking for is just has plus verbs third form because has is already given. Been fascinated would mean that mass, mass or life or possibility, that possibility is itself fascinated, so which is not possible. So it is fascinating humans or fascinated humans for generations. So what a sentence will be like: the possibility of life on Mars has fascinated humans for generations. Yes, fascinated is the answer. This is the answer, fascinated. Been fascinated is not the answer because, see, if we put been fascinated over here, then what will the sentence become? The sentence will be that that possibility of life itself is fascinated. Yes, it's always third form of verb. I would request you to please attend your grammar classes and please practice grammar as well, because after has we have third form of verb, that is a grammatical rule. Right, so passive active voice also, yes. So if we put been fascinated over here, then that means that possibility of life or life itself will be fascinated, but what we are talking about is that humans are fascinated by that. So that's the reason we are putting third form only, that is fascinated. Right, I hope that's clear to you all now. Right, okay, let's move on to the next one. So it has been the subject of endless science fiction novels and films. No, this one is in passive voice. That is the reason also. Because the object has become the subject. Yes. Right. The fifth one is forms. That is the correct answer. Let's quickly do this. All right. So it has been the subject of endless science fiction novels and films. Are we alone in the universe, or have there been other life dash within our solar system? Now, I'm very glad that many of you have gotten it correct. Activities and organisms, they do not really make sense here. Life activities or life organisms, they do not make sense. Now, because we are looking for something which is in plural form. There been, have there been. What life system also doesn't go together. So what we have is, what we are left with is forms. All right, so this was your second. No, it is not mandatory for every passive voice sentence to be ended in by. It can also be complete without a by something. It does not necessarily have to end up with that, right? So any questions related to this, you're very welcome. You may type that in the chat box and we shall discuss that. All right, let's see this one again. Are we alone in the universe, or have there been other dash? Okay, life system doesn't really suit this sentence because system of life is not there. Life forms means we are talking about any sort of life, not just human life. We are also talking about animal life or any plant life or anything. So life forms would be our answer. Another thing is that we are looking for something in the plural form because there are many sorts of lives, right? Many species. So we are looking for something in plural form. That's the reason. Life organisms, if we choose, it does not have to be life, right? If life was not there, probably I would have gone for organisms as well. But yes, absolutely. Have is used for plural. All right. I hope this makes it clear for you all. Any other doubts? You're very welcome. All right. I'll still wait for 1 or 2 minutes If you guys have any doubt in entire task, any of these plans, any of these 5 plans. Okay, let's see the 4th one. So I hope the possibility over here is clear to you all. So the possibility of life on Mars has dash humans, because we have has in the first place. So the first thing is that we have to look for has. Okay, so if we have has, we are supposed to get the third form of verb. Okay, now been fascinated, if you're getting confused between been fascinated and fascinated, let me tell you this thing. If you're talking about like this is all right, so we just have to look for something which is verb's third form after has. Okay, been fascinated would mean that it was in the continuous. It's not in the continuous, it is happening. It's just simply happening. No. After been, we shouldn't look for plural verbs, plural word. I'm sorry about that. So we should not look for that. After have, there has to be, because have we only use for plural verbs, right? They have, we have. Similarly, we need to look for something after have. We are looking for something which is in plural. Anything else? Yes, has is used for single words, single subject. All right. Any other doubts? You're very welcome for that. Been can be used for continuous. She has been doing it, right? It can be used for continuous. It is used for continuous tense, present perfect continuous, or past perfect continuous. We use that. Yes. Yes, for generations, they are not telling since when or anything, right? It is just continuation, means we are not saying it is still doing that. It has done it, okay, for many generations. Now we are still getting some sorts of, ideas what's there on Mars. So it's not still going on, it is still going on, but here what we are looking for is not something which is continuous, and we are not getting direct idea that it is continuous tense only that they are talking about, right? So the first choice we should have is with has third form of verb. Yes. Right? Any more doubts? All right, let's move on to the next task. Let me just adjust this. Meaning of underway here means something which is in progress. It has started and it's also making progress. Okay, it is showing progress, some sort of progress and a positive result, I would say. That would be underway. That is the reason we are going for underway, which is more academic. Now, I hope that clears the doubts. All right, let's start with the next task. Yes, so you can take 3 minutes for this. Since it's sort of a long one, or 3 minutes max, let's take, and then we shall discuss. All right, let's discuss. So I'm quite happy that many of you are getting the answers correct, and I believe this is something which is kind of making our answers obvious as well. All right, let's start. So in response to criticisms over food waste, so we have criticisms as our word. So because they are being criticized, some supermarkets. So who's being criticized? Some supermarkets who are dash. Now again we have are. So what we are looking for is something in ing. Right. So ing. Now let's see the options. Let's read the whole sentence first. Yes. Some supermarkets are dash some of their food surplus. Right. So what are they doing is they are donating, because this is the only thing that we have in the first, in ing form. Donated or donates will not be there. Being donated will also not be there because it's directly active voice. Right. So for active voice, we will directly write ing. Yes, we are going to start write ing. So the answer is donating. Some supermarkets are donating food for some of their food surplus. Right. Then, however, charities estimate that they are only accessing 2% of supermarkets' total food dash. Now, what are they saying is that charities, now because they are already donating, so something we are going to have is in negative, right? Because it's however means it's opposite situations. So the opposite one is what do they say is charities estimate that they are only accessing 2%, right? So whatever the access or the excess is, that it's only 2% of that, right? So what should we look for is something. Now because we are talking about surplus, right? That means excess of something, right? So the answer should be surplus again. I'll tell you why. Because shortage is completely opposite. We are not talking about the shortage of food. We are in fact talking about excess food, which is extra, right? Again, extra will not be suitable because we are looking for something more academic word. Extra will be very much general word, which is not really desired. Now what we are left with is surplus and excess. So the answer is surplus, because excess actually means, so the difference between surplus and excess is surplus, excess means just something is a lot in number, okay, which can be used, right? Surplus exactly means that after using something, still there is something extra. Okay, now if you're talking about food, so food has actually been eaten by people, okay, after eating or after satisfying the need, still we are left with some quantity, so that is surplus. That is the reason we are going for surplus and not excess. And I'm actually happy that every one of you is getting, most of you is getting the correct answer. So the answer is surplus. Okay, let's proceed. So this hardly seems to be solving the problem. Some say that supermarkets are simply not doing enough, right? Now this is a sort of criticism that supermarkets are getting. Most supermarkets operate under a veil of secrecy. Veil means under the cover of secrecy. So what are they doing is they are operating under some sort of secrecy when asked for exact figures. So when they ask for exact figures from these supermarkets, they keep something secret about food wastage. And without more transparency, it is hard to come dash with systematic approach. Now let's see what are the options that we have. Come down is not the right answer. Okay, come out actually means the result of something. So we are not talking about any sort of result here. What we are talking about sorry, what we are talking about is up. So come up basically means to think of something. So we are thinking of a systematic approach, which is a hard task for us. Okay, so the answer should be come up with. That means we have to think of something which is a systematic approach. Okay, come about does not make sense at all, so it should be eliminated directly. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So let's proceed. It should be come up with a systematic approach to avoid waste and to dash surplus food. Now, what do we need to do with this surplus food if we come up with a systematic approach? Let's see the options. Deliver. Some of you is getting confused with deliver, but deliver is not the right option. That is because we are not delivering something because they are looking for it. We are talking about donating, and donation exactly means that nobody is asking us to do that. Nobody is asking us to give them something, but we are just giving them. So deliver will not be the right option. Okay, then now because we have two, so we cannot put, no, we have two, so we are basically actually looking up for something, some verb in the first form. Reallocation will directly be gone because we are not talking about any noun. We don't want a noun. Divide, again we cannot say divide would mean that we have to divide something in parts and then give or anything. We are just talking about giving, donating, right? So since all these are wrong, so we will come up with one answer, which is redistribute. All right. Okay, so we are, okay, let's see this sentence. Let's see the context, what it has to say. It is hard to dash with a systematic approach. Okay, now according to the context, we have to see some word which relates to think. We have to think of something, right? We have to think of a systematic approach. We have to bring that up, right? So come out would go wrong in that. Come out will not be appropriate here. That is the reason we have to eliminate that. Okay, yes, we are eliminating out. So our answer should be up. Come up with. Come up exactly means to think of something, to get some idea. Yes, however, itself means something opposite. Okay, so I hope this one is clear. So the answer is redistribute, right? Then let's move further. Some small companies are now taking matters into their own hands. So they are taking it into their own hands and dash consumers a greener, more environment friendly option. So what do we need is, they are doing what? So smaller companies are doing what? They are taking the matter into their hands and they are giving, because companies have to give greener and more environment friendly option. Let's see the options that we have. Bidding cannot be. Bidding could mean, one is it has actually two meanings. One is that it is, we are putting an auction, okay, which is not at all suitable for us. What we are looking for is, asking means telling them to do something, right? We're not telling them to do anything. We are just, I mean, smaller companies, they are not telling people to do something, they are giving something to them. So propose will also not be there. Propose would actually mean that they should accept something. Whether they accept or not, it's not our concern. Our concern is that we should give them. So we should offer them. The answer should be offering. They are offering consumers a green or more environment friendly option, right? And this one also many of you got right. So let's move on. Now shops like Berlin's original, whatever this is, these are proper nouns, right? So shops like this and this are plastic free shops. Now what are they? They are plastic free shops. That means they don't have any sort of plastic. Okay, shops and that have opened in recent years. So these are those type of shops where we don't have any sort of plastic, or specifically we could say plastic bags, right? Dash consumers to use their own containers or compostable bags. Compostable bags are those which do not really pose any threat to the environment, or which does not really have any danger to the environment. So those are compostable bags, which can dissolve into the environment and they do not really pose any threat to the bags. Okay, so what do we want over here is, what makes them use their own bags? That is plastic free shops. Let's see the options. We are not talking about promising, so we will not go for promising. We are not promising anything. Yes, the answer is encouraging. We are not promising anything. We are not even giving them any sort of suggestions. They've just opened plastic free. Okay, they are not just using plastic free. They are not giving any sort of promise or any sort of suggestions. They are not supporting the customers to use. So we will go for encouraging, because these things will encourage actually the consumers whether they should use this or not. So it'll be encouraging, right? Yes, any doubt pertaining to this one? You're very welcome. The first blank in this one. Okay, let me assume that you're talking about the first blank. So what it says is, some supermarkets are dash some of their food surplus, which is simply an active voice. So we have are also, and seeing this are, we can get an idea that what we have to use is a verb in ing form, right? So verb in ing form, that is only one, which is donating. That is the reason our answer is donating in the first one. Yes, being donated should be in the passive voice. If this was in passive voice, then we would have gone for being donated. But since it's an active voice, we should go for just ing form of the verb. Yes. All right. The second one, many of you are getting the doubts in that. So let's see. However, charities estimate that they are only accounting 2% of supermarkets' total food dash. So what are we looking for here is food, extra food or excess food, right? Excess actually means that it is a lot in quantity. We are not talking about after consumption or before consumption. For example, if somebody has made a lot of food, so that is in excess. Okay, that is before taking it. So we should not go for excess. Okay, shortage and extra does not fit the context itself, so they are already eliminated. Our confusion was between surplus and excess. So excess is eliminated because excess means something before or after the consumption. Before consumption it could be. Surplus means after satisfying our need also there is a lot, which is exactly what fits our context, right? That is the reason our answer should be surplus. Anybody else with any other doubts? Okay, so the third one is without more transparency, it is hard to come dash with a systematic approach. Now here, as I said earlier, we need to think of something, or we have to bring new ideas about systematic approach, which can be systematic, which can actually make some sense, because earlier they are telling that charities estimate something else, and basically supermarkets, they are donating their food surplus, but charities estimate that only 2% are making that, okay, making those donations. So we need something which actually tells us clearly what is happening. So we need to think of those things which can give us the idea. That is the reason we are going for come up. Actually, come up means that we need to think of something, right? That is the reason we are going for up. Come down, come out, and come about, they are completely wrong, because it's a phrasal verb, right? Come up is a phrasal verb, so that is the correct answer. Others are not really the correct answers. Come out would just simply mean that coming out. So we are not coming out about, and also if we are going for come out, there has to be something out of which we have to come out. So off should be there. but we have with, right? So come up with a systematic approach. I hope that makes it clear. Any other doubts? Yes, it's a phrase. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, I shall give you 3 minutes for this, and we shall discuss it later. Okay, I hope now you people are able to see the screen and options as well. Please let me know in the chat box if it's visible. Is it clear? All right, thank you. All right, I hope this is a little better now. If it's readable, then it should be fine. All right, let's take one more minute. For those who were not able to see the screen, let's take one more minute and then we shall discuss. All right, let's start the discussions. Okay, let's start. It's kind of a lot of time that you got, so I guess it should be a little better now. Well, I can see that many of you are getting the correct answers, which is right. And for those who are not able to, get the correct answers, let's discuss for them. So let's start. Encouraging smokers to quit saves billions in healthcare costs. So basically what we know is the context is going about quitting smoking. Okay. Am I not audible to anybody? Please let me know in the chat box. Okay. So yes. So what we are looking for is now the topic, basically the context is quitting smoking, right? So what does it do if we quit smoking, they are saying it promotes longer, healthier lives and dash lost productivity, means the productivity which is already lost, right? So during smoking, whatever productivity was lost, we are talking about that, according to the Consumer Health Production Association, which is 𝗖𝗍𝗶𝗹, right? So what do we need here? We need here some verb, okay, because they are giving us verbs: promotes, okay, and then saves. Now if you can see, we have these in verbs first form with s or es, right? Now saves, promotes, so we can get an idea what we need over here. What we need is something with an s or es. Let's see the options. Let's see the options. We have is had restored, which we are not at all looking for. Probably our answer is pretty much clear, which is restores, right? Has restored again, we are not saying, because we are not talking about something specifically at particular time. Yes, we are not talking about anything which is at a particular time or which has already happened and now it's not going on. So we will not go for has restored. This is simple present tense, which means saves. Okay, let's get an idea from here. Saves and promotes, we already have. So we are going in continuation to that, right? And see, and so that means it has to be almost similar. Now one rule is there that whenever we have this word and, that means it should be same or similar to that. Means whatever part of speech we have before and, we have to put after and as well, right? So if it's saves we have, promotes we have, then we should go for restores, right? It makes it pretty much simple for us to get. Now is restoring we are not going for, because it is not something which is going on in continuation. That is the reason we are not going for is restoring. Okay, this is not something which is going on in continuation. We are not saying this is occurring right now. Okay, that is why we are not going for is restoring. So what we are left with? Restores. I hope the screen is visible to everyone. All right, let's proceed further. So then what we are talking about is quitting smoking is a dash, right? Let me change the page view from here. Yeah, I hope this is better now, because we are already done with the first blank, right? So yes, now they are saying quitting smoking is a dash. Now what is it, right? What we are looking for is something is a. Now we have a. If you can see, we have a, right? That means what we are looking for is something in which starts with a consonant, and also it should be a noun, right? It should be a noun and it starts with a consonant. Okay, so it is something. So we will directly eliminate what? Issue, because it starts with I, and what we want is something which starts with the consonant. Okay, so now we are not asking any question. Now we are not asking any sort of question. That is the reason the question we should eliminate. It's not asking a question how we should do it, right? Or it's not even a question of concern. We are just saying that it is kind of difficult, right? Why do we say it is difficult? Because after but, they are saying today the widespread availability of many over-the-counter nicotine replacement therapy products can make a huge difference in helping. So help is positive, right? So here something we need is for a difficult thing, right? So the options that we have is, now problematic cannot be there because we are looking for a noun and problematic is an adjective, right? So what we are left with is challenge. So now what does the sentence say? That quitting smoking is a challenge, but today the widespread availability of many OTC nicotine replacement therapy products can make a huge difference in helping smokers to quit. I hope this is clear to you. All right, so let's proceed. Now, 𝗂𝗃𝗃 estimates that quitting smoking with OTC NRT products could save $1.3 billion per year in direct medical care costs in the United States. Right. So we now what does 𝗂𝗃𝗃 does? It is estimating that this much this much help is there. Right. It has saved this much. Okay. So monetary help is something that we are getting with OTC NRT products. Okay, then something should be here, and let's assume that it's going to be a connector because it's we have a comma after the blank. So the data suggests that former smokers are worth an increase in productivity of approximately this much to this per employee per year. Right, let's see the options. In addition, okay, this could be the option because it's just giving an additional information. Thus we cannot go for, because it is not a reason or an it's not a reason. Like thus we use for something that tell us that why is something happening. It is happening because of that. So thus cannot be there, right? But cannot be there because it has to be something opposite. Okay, we are not talking about any opposite thing. Okay, similarly, however, should also not be there because it is similar to but, right? But also otherwise should not have a comma. So however and but are directly eliminated. So what we are left with is the correct answer, which is in addition. So in addition, data suggests. So in addition to these things, right, whatever we are getting from NRT products, we have gotten this thing. So this is there. Something in addition to this, added to this thing, the data suggests we have approximately this much amount per employee. Okay, so the productivity is also higher. Okay, let's move on. Of course, the dash benefits. So we have to look for something which tells what sort of benefits. So the dash benefits of quitting smoking are as significant as the financial ones. So they are saying some other benefits which are more or equally significant or equally important as the financial ones. So we'll directly eliminate wealth because already wealth is, they have given it in the sentence. We won't consider wealth. What we'll consider is health. So health benefits, wellness and fitness, they are later things. Okay, once we should be healthy, after that we can think of wellness or fitness, right? So health benefits of quitting. Now they are talking about, of course, the health benefits are significant. Okay, even otherwise, because we are talking about quitting smoking, it will give us more of health benefits rather than fitness or anything else, right? Let's proceed. According to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, smokers who quit may reduce their risk of health problems. So the smokers who are quitting smoking, they can reduce their risk of health problems, including what? Lung and other cancers, health disease, stroke, respiratory problems, and vascular diseases. So these are all sort of diseases which are going on. Dash their lung function and circulation can improve by as much as 30%. So see, already these things are happening. Okay, and parallelly another thing is happening, which is that their lung function and circulation of blood is also improving at the same time. It's all these things are going on parallelly, right? So something we need for parallel is Y. Okay, now let's see how elimination method would have helped us. Rather we cannot go for, because rather actually means not considering one thing, but we are considering the other thing. Okay, so rather can be eliminated. Then is until we cannot say, because until completely does not suit here, because until means one thing happens till something else happens. So we are not saying that these diseases are being cured till their lungs are functioning. So basically everything is going on together. That's why we are going for while. Yes, we can put comma after this. So any doubt in this one? Yes. Let's see. Let me erase this first. Okay. So the third blank goes like, I hope you're talking about this blank. Although we are not going for, because see, although means that one thing is happening and not considering the other thing, right? Rather, and although in this context would not suit, because something which is going on already. Okay. Now, when smokers quit smoking, they are getting they're protecting themselves from all these diseases, and at the same time lung function and circulation is improving, right, at the same time. So although would mean, although this happened, still there is something else which we can say is used for opposite situations. Now the situation is not being opposite, it's going on parallelly, it's going on together, right? That is the reason we are going for while. So the third blank, of course, the dash benefits of quitting smoking are as significant as the financial ones. So firstly, they have told about financial benefits, what we have. So wealth is completely eliminated exactly at that time, right? Directly. Now what we are left with, health, wellness and fitness. Wellness and fitness. Wellness is once we are already healthy, then we are maintaining that health. Then we are using wellness. So we are not right now talking about maintaining our health. The first thing is, oh yes, okay. Right. So dash data suggests, I'm sorry, I also got confused with the first blank. So okay, so this one is in addition, because we already have certain data, right? That data is what? That 𝗖𝗍𝗶𝗃 estimates that quitting smoking with OTC NRT products could save this much per year. Okay, so for already one data we have, right? So another data is suggesting this thing, which is sort of an addition to the first one, right? We are talking about addition, only addition. We are not going for opposite situations or anything. So we are going for the answer which is in addition to that.